Did you know that 81% of people wind up failing their New Year's resolution? And now it may or may not be because they were a little too ambitious or life threw a few curveballs at them, but I'm going to give you a few tips to help your New Year's resolution stick better.
I found that if you have a goal, that you might not reach it. But if you don't have one, then you are never disappointed. And I gotta tell you, it feels phenomenal.
The first tip is to keep it simple. Make sure that you're only sticking to one or two big changes. Things such as, I want to lose 100 pounds, and I want to quit drinking, and I want to run a marathon. Might be a little bit much for one person to handle, all in the scope of a year, and it can be overwhelming. Keeping it simple doesn't mean that it's going to be super easy though, because as most of us know, weight loss can be quite challenging, because there's so much misinformation out there that sometimes we get lost in the scope of what one person's saying and somebody else directly disagreeing with them. And yet, for both those people, it seemed to work. The next tip is to decide on a couple of important metrics to follow. And so, using weight loss as the example, obviously the number on the scale is something that you're going to be paying attention to. Something else that I want you to pay attention to could be your belt size, your waist size, the size of dress that you're trying to fit into, and things such as that, which don't have anything to do with the scale. Because as your body changes, we need to be looking at multiple metrics to determine whether or not we're actually being successful. And the one metric that I would often say is underrated is, how do you feel? Because if you feel terrible, you're probably not going to be sustaining what you're doing for much longer. The next tip is about improving your mindset and thinking of it more as building better habits rather than finding the motivation to achieve a goal. Now, to get into that a little bit deeper, think of it more along the lines of saying, instead of, I want to be healthy, say, I want to become a healthy person. And asking yourself frequently, is this something a healthy person would do? Because we can all look at a meal and identify whether it's a healthy meal or not. Now, healthy people still eat some poor meals once in a while. And just because you have a poor quality meal doesn't mean you're not a healthy person. So you have to create a structure around what a healthy person is, and then begin to build the habits that lead you in that direction. The next tip is about removing friction. And friction to me is anything that stands in your way. So if it comes to eating well, but you have too many treats in the house, get rid of them. That removes the friction, removes the temptation. Anything along those lines can help you to achieve your goal with fewer bumps along the road. One really good example of this is if your goal as somebody who's trying to become a healthy person is to become more fit. Think about it as the importance of showing up. Because some days you're going to wake up and you're going to go for a 5-mile run and you're going to feel awesome. And some days you're going to wake up and you're already going to feel terrible. And so instead of saying, oh, I didn't go for a run today, I'm not a healthy person, show up anyway. Go for a walk. Do some yoga. Do some stretching. Even a few push-ups. But do something, because that's part of your morning habit, is to get up and get active. It doesn't have to be a marathon every day. It can be anything that you need to check off that box and become somebody with a healthy habit. And finally, celebrate the small wins. If you don't hit your 2 pounds per week goal, but you still dropped 1 pound, that's still a win. As long as you are continuing to move forward, that's something you have to be proud of. Because a lot of people quit. 81% of New Year's resolutions fail every single year. And if you want to be somebody that is in that 19%, that can hold their head high and be proud of the effort that they've put in and the accomplishments they achieved, celebrate every little win along the way. And if you do make a mistake, don't give up.